Hi there, I'm Carrie Grant and today I'm going to be chatting to Liam about his creative endeavours but also about bullying or anti-bullying. So Liam, first of all, could you just take us through what is bullying, like as you see it? Because I think sometimes we think of bullying as being just someone at the back of school like hitting someone or taking your dinner money off you, but it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's several types of bullying. There's mental bullying where people get inside your head, they whisper things as you walk in. There's a lot of things on social media where people like say stuff to you like kill yourself, horrible, nasty things like that. And, yeah.
And sometimes social media can be really difficult because it can be things like indirecting. So it's not necessarily that they're saying kill yourself and something really extreme like that. It can be something a bit more subtle. Now, you showed me some stats earlier today that said 63% of people have been bullied because they're adopted. And you yourself have been adopted, haven't you?
Yeah.
So has that been an issue for you?
Yeah, when I was about 7 or 8, I used to get people saying your parents don't like you, they don't love you, things like that. But then I just turned around and said, my parents chose me.
So this happened at the point where you were being adopted. You got adopted at what age were you in?
8, I think.
Yeah. So 8 years old. And so, but how did that make you feel when they initially said that stuff?
Well, at first it was quite horrible, but then I just learned over the few weeks that just ignore it really.
And when you went home to your new mum and dad, who had, as you said, they chose you and you feel proud of that, did you find it easy to share with them or was that difficult?
It's quite difficult. I mean, you don't really want to say a lot about what you're thinking or feeling, but I suppose over the years I sort of opened up a bit. Yeah.
I think it's sometimes hard for children to open up to their parents, and I don't know why that is, because even if you have a really good relationship, I think sometimes, I don't know what you were like, but did you feel like, oh no, my parents might just go in there and they'll make it worse for me?
Yeah, I used to like not tell my dad stuff about things that happened at school, because he'd probably march down to school and, you know.
I'd do the same.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than a warrior parent. They're going to get right in there. Yeah, and that's difficult. So what strategies or what did you do to help yourself through that bullying?
I'm not really sure. I mean, sort of got to a point where I just ignored it. I mean, I did speak to some of my teachers that I could trust, and then I asked them not to do anything and they were respected that, which was quite nice. And yeah, it sort of stopped when people realised I'm not getting to me.
Do you think sharing, because you talked about sharing it with teachers, do you think sharing helped you?
Yeah, it got a lot off my chest and I think it does help.
If you hadn't shared and you'd have just held all of that in, what do you think would have happened? Because that's a lot of people would do that.
I probably would have got to a point where I couldn't take it and exploded a bit, got really angry, probably ended up hitting someone.
Yeah, and then you end up in trouble. Yeah, so that's not helpful at all. So there might be young people that are watching this today who've experienced being bullied. What would you say are the things that they should do?
Tell an adult really, someone you can trust, and yeah, maybe just speak to someone you trust really.
So that might be a parent, but if you some people feel like they can't share that with their parents. So it's finding a teacher or?
Yeah, I mean, I found someone I could trust who was quite nice and respected what I asked.
Also, I think sometimes at schools now, you have like mentors, don't you? I don't know if you've got those in your school, where you have an anti-bullying mentor in school, and that's kind of like the go-to young person. Would you have found it easier to talk to another young person at the time, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would have had quite a lot, because then they would not understand what I'm talking about and thinking.
Now, you're not doing this officially now, but I know that in your own school, if someone is being bullied, what would you do?
I would, first of all, like evaluate the situation, see what it was like, and then if it was like verbally, I'd go get a teacher or a member of staff, and then but if it was things like hitting each other, then I would try and step in and calm everyone down and hopefully get them to talk about what they're thinking and feeling.
That's really good advice. You definitely should be the anti-bullying mentor in your school, that's for sure. Okay, now tell me, because obviously when you've been bullied, the last thing that I would ever imagine you'd want to do is go and do modelling, because you would think there's no way that a bullied child is going to feel confident enough to strut down the catwalk.
Yeah.
But you have managed to pull that off. So tell me what you're doing modelling wise.
Well, I'm doing something in September, which is London Fashion Week, where I'm modelling for a company called Be Unique, and they just wear some really outrageous clothes that make me feel unique and confident in what I'm doing.
That's
and
fantastic.
Yeah, it builds confidence a lot.
London Fashion Week, how old are you?
I'm 14.
14 years old at London Fashion Week. That is mega exciting. That's really incredible. Is modelling something you see yourself doing in the future?
I think so, yeah.
You have done some stuff before though, right?
I did something, kids fashion festival for a charity called Cancel Cancer Africa, and to raise money for them, and we just walked down for a few minutes. It was quite nice.
Was that a funny feeling? Like,
yeah.
All eyes are on you.
Yeah, it was quite scary, but I got quite a big clap and applause, so it was quite nice.
And then you become an applause junkie and you're like, I need to feel that again.
Yeah.
And what about your music? Because you also, what instruments do you play?
I play the drums and the guitar, and next year I'm learning a bit of the piano.
So we could have a bit of a music modelling career ahead.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now the fact is, you've wanted to really talk about being bullied and talk about anti-bullying. Could we talk just for a moment about the bully?
Well, yeah, because we did some looking online, and it turns out most bullies are people who have been bullied themselves, or things aren't very good at home. So it's just their cry for help, really, trying to get some attention.
Sometimes we do make the bully out to be so dreadful that they're almost irredeemable and they can never change, and that's not true. Children and young people, and even adults, can go through phases where they bully and then they realise that's not a good way of behaving. So what can be done, like if there's a bully in your school, what do you think your school could do to help that bully?
Oh, I think go and talking to them, asking them about what's going on at home maybe, but in a subtle way. Don't want to ask them loads of random questions like that, but yeah, and seeing what they're thinking and feeling, and hopefully trying to comfort them.
Because you're absolutely right, sometimes bullies do need comfort. You're right. And also perhaps maybe thinking about restorative work. So, you know, if you've been bullied, actually talking with the bully and the bullied, you know, and people between them, as it were, actually being able to get them to talk and find out what is your beef, as they say. What is your problem? Why is this happening, and how can we help it to stop? Yeah. So any message to anyone out there today that, similarly to you, has been adopted and is being bullied, what would you say to that person today?
Well, push through, you can do it. If you're being bullied, talk to someone you trust, maybe, it could even be a sibling really, and yeah, and then hopefully just get through it really, like just talk to people.
So sharing is really important. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to ask you about before we finish, which is, because also sometimes you've struggled at school because of the effects of the adoption situation. So just talk me very briefly through the things that you've struggled with at school in terms of your learning.
I used to struggle with, it used to take me a bit longer to answer a question than other people, so people used to call me a bit thick and that, even though it used to take me 2 or 3 minutes extra. Writing was a struggle for me, holding a pencil or a pen. Yeah.
Those things are really hard when you're young, aren't they? Because you then, if you're already struggling with your identity, like, I don't belong and nobody, does anybody want me? And then if people are saying you're thick, that is absolutely devastating. Yeah. I can't believe that you're doing such amazing work now with what you've been through, and you're only 14. Yeah. You go like that, look at your hand, put it on your shoulder, pat yourself on the back. Well done.
Yeah.
We're going to finish there. Thank you. So today we also want to give a big shout out to Panache. Now tell me, what does Panache do for you? How are you involved in that?
Well, I'm the Panache Youth Ambassador for 2018.
Check that title.
Yeah, so my job is to help the kids of today to just get involved in charities in their local communities, and yeah.
And that's got a real life princess is at the headship of that, right? Who's that?
That's Princess Peace Priscilla, and she sort of like helps people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And she found you, did she?
Because of what I was doing for the charity that I'm raising money for.
So you've already done a lot of charitable work, and hopefully with the work that you're now doing as an ambassador for Panache, you're going to be encouraging lots of other young people. What kind of things would you like to see young people doing?
Well, as I said earlier, get involved in charity, so there's raise money for charitable causes, even if it's just cake sale, things like that.
Yeah.
And then the local community, so you could go help out in your local church or go down to your local shop and just, maybe if it's just, an hour a day, just go and help them out whenever they're needed.
So it's about gathering communities as much as it is supporting charities. That's a fantastic work that Panache are doing, and how brilliant. Congratulations on your appointment as Youth Ambassador for this year. That's wonderful.